What is up, Jeff?
Dan, how are you, man?
I'm good, dude. I see you chilling back there with some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, somebody set it up for me. They took out all
It's
my
it's
stuff.
you got me beat, man. I just got the Transformer and the Return of the Jedi poster. You got like Punch Comics and Spirit 22 and stuff. So
Dude,
good stuff.
I'd trade for that Transformer. I'd have to see it a little closer. What kind of conditions in it?
It's Blaster. He was like the Autobot knockoff of Soundwave a couple years after Soundwave came out.
Right on.
Yeah, I was a little bit too young for Soundwave, but I was right in the age point for Blaster.
Nice.
So anyways, I wanted to chat with you about this. I was going to say crazy, but I don't really think it is crazy. This Super Mario Brothers sale for $660,000. So I kind of want to do a little lead up to that real quick. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I recall, last year in the summer, like a 1985 version of Super Mario Brothers sealed sold for, I think it was like 114,000. So that was kind of like the record at the time. And then later in the year, a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 sold for, I think it was 156, like 156,000. So the copy that just sold right now is a 1986 Super Mario Brothers. So it's not the one with the seat, like the sticker, it's the sealed one. But it sold for $660,000.
It's insane.
That's quite a leap to go from the highest paid, video game is 156 to 660.
Yep.
So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. What do you think about that?
Well, number one, I think it's amazing.
Right.
It really speaks to how quickly the market is maturing. There's a lot of folks that have spilled over from sports cards, as well as comic books into this, and they're quickly realizing how scarce the sealed stuff is. And because Mario is so iconic, and there's past sales, those things are going through the roof. You just can't get your hands on sealed. It's just tough. Everyone's like holding on to them. However, the fact that thing went for over $500,000 now was more rapid than I think I would have predicted. When I saw the guy on Pawn Stars ask $1 million for his copy, knowing that it was the only sealed sticker copy, I still thought, yeah, the market's a ways out for that. And I don't think he would take $1 million. I don't think he'd take $2 right now, because
really,
I don't think so. We could call him up and ask him, but I don't think he will.
Maybe we'll do that on a later call.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
But no, yeah, I thought it was a big leap. I am, and I'm not surprised. There are, you had a Mickey Mantle rookie take $1 million leap over the course of like 2 months from November to what was it, the end of January. So
yeah, not even 2 months, maybe. I don't. Yeah, if that, maybe a little longer.
It's absolutely crazy. But relatively speaking, that was a 25% jump.
Right.
Even though there aren't comps on this one, I don't believe, that's still huge. And it speaks to rarity, playing with an iconic nature, and just emotion running wild at the moment.
Another kind of, and I mean, that's kind of the big headline for the, let's say, non-collecting world, the CNNs and whatnot, to go, oh, wow, this Mario game sold for $660,000. But also in that auction, a Mega Man sold for $144,000, which I think it was this Mega Man. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't
not
think so.
Him, but I'm not sure. It looked. I think it was that Mega Man, but I'm not sure.
Are you just?
So that was 144.
Like, dig in. What's that? Here? Are you trying to dig in and make me feel bad, Dan? I think I know where you're going.
I wanted to show you what you've helped build. Is what I wanted to show you.
Well, thank you.
But also, like a Mike Tyson Punch Out went for 102,000. So I mean, that's clearly, and those are good titles. Clearly, Mega Man and Mike Tyson's Punch Out are like AAA titles. They may not have the name recognition of, say, Super Mario Brothers, but I mean, that kind of speaks to the maybe depth of like what's out there as far as the marketplace goes, and what else will I can talk sustain. You know what I mean? Because that's a big deal. That would have been the headline. Last year is Mega Man sells for 144,000. But
oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting to see what's upcoming.
Well, and what I found interesting about that Mega Man, and you know what, I could be wrong too. I should probably look a little closer, but I'm pretty sure it was not that version.
It was not that version. Okay.
No, the one that I had there, which sold all in for 75.
Right.
I think what was that? Early December of 2019. That was the Dr. Wright version.
Okay.
So
right.
in the back, it has Dr. Wright instead of Dr. Wily. And I'm pretty sure the one that sold the other day was the Dr. Wily version.
Gotcha.
The earlier Dr. Wily version. So that being the case, I would imagine Dr. Wright would perform quite a bit better than that.
Even better, yeah. So it's exciting to see, and I see behind you have a couple sealed graded games yourself. So
I do. There's
still some good stuff left there.
Oh yeah, there was some holdbacks. The at the time, I knew things were not going to be. I knew two things. The money was going to be good. It would create headlines as far as how much was sold. But sure. I knew and had folks telling me, you're not going to get as much for that unless you, as if we were to hold it for a couple of years and sell it then. I was like, yeah, well, is what it is. But I wanted to baseline that market. But there were a handful of pieces that I held back because I knew the market wasn't ready. I was already seeing things that were wicked rare. I can't really remember what they were, but there were already things that were crazy rare that were just not getting the dollars that they should have. So something like this, Chubby Cherub, 9.4 A seal. This is, hang tab, no rev A, round SOQ. This is the stuff. This is, right there, original third-party license game. Stuff like that. And then this is one of my other beauties. So,
oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's a gloss sticker seal gyromite, which is actually quite a bit rarer than the matte sticker seal. The matte sticker seal sold last year for like 40 grand, I think, through Heritage.
Right.
And the gloss sticker, the story escapes me right now, but something about what they had in production and they didn't really need them through the second, yada, yada. So and again, I don't know that the community really knows all those stories just yet, but I held back a few.
No, that makes sense. And they may not yet. There's a lot to discover still yet, I think, for the majority of collectors in this field. So it's an exciting time. It's really exciting.
It certainly is.
Another kind of to transition a little bit. Another interesting thing that happened this week was a copy of Action Comics #1. I believe it sold through Comic Connect, but it was an 8.5 white pages. So I believe it's the second highest census copy that's not restored, if memory serves me correctly. I think there's a 9.0, and I think there's two above that, but they're restored. But that went for $3.25 million, which is just slightly above what the 9.0 sold for. What are your thoughts on that? I know you're a self-described Golden Age comics addict, so I can't wait to hear you pontificate about that.
I love the Golden Age, man. It's
right.
I mean, how can you? I just want to turn around and stare at the books that I haven't seen come out of the box.
I got a great view of them from where I'm at. So
yeah. So it's awesome. You got a comic. You got a comic sale that's hitting heavy like the sports card sales. However,
right.
There is so much buzz going on in the sports card field that, two things. There's collectors crossing over hard from sports cards because it's absolutely insane what's going over there. The upticks in multiples, it's nutty. I won't show you what I've bought lately. Anyhow, so I had to spend about an hour in the sports card shop yesterday, local here, because Jonah, my son, wanted to sell a few of his basketball cards. And there's a great store like right across the street from the offices. And so sitting in there, listening, hearing, these guys are, it's all about everything. But, I had the shirt on, and the one
Right.
guy, asked about comics. And I was like, yeah, like we had this whole discussion about the values in comics. And from my perspective, they've been jumping nicely.
Right.
From everybody else's perspective, not even close. The comics market has been on an upswing since, when it comes to Golden Age stuff, man, it's, I don't know if it's ever had a downswing.
That's a valid point, honestly.
Yeah.
The Golden Age market seems to kind of be almost its own beast in comparison with the later silver, bronze, copper market. You know what I mean? Because you'll see stuff like Giant Size X-Men right now just went from here to way through the ceiling. You know what I mean? In Golden Age, you see kind of a steady, almost upward trajectory, I think. But
yeah, Golden Age has had this slow increase, but it's always been slow and steady. And the folks who collect the rare heavy hitting stuff, like something like this,
that is one of the best covers right there.
It's fantastic. And when you start to get into actual comics, so many people think to themselves Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, all that good stuff. And the old school dealers mostly that have been around this stuff and knew it was rare in the 70s, they love, all of these classic covers and all the stuff it depicts. And so at any rate, I think the Golden Age comic scene is a great buying opportunity, even though I get cranky at the moment when I'm like, I wanted to get that for much less than, yeah. I was swearing a lot the other day at the Heritage auction in the offices here. People were like, "What? Is everything okay?" But yeah,
you're like, you wouldn't understand if I told you, so don't worry about it.
Right. So yeah, no, I think it's great. I think the sale's awesome. It eclipsed the 9.0s. But at the end of the day, I would have liked to see it sell for more. It really is just a matter of exposure from the cross-collecting audience. The existing collecting audience, most of your Golden Age collectors are not shouting from the rooftops, "Hey, everything in Golden Age is awesome too." They're like, "Don't tell them. I don't want to spend more." And yeah, when it comes to this stuff that's so rare, buying is done on opportunity, not on not on past value. Like this guy here, I was lucky when a friend offered this to me. This is it's from Nicolas Cage's collection. When he sold it, that was an opportunity to
Ghost Rider himself.
Yeah, it was an opportunity to actually get one, and they just don't come up at auction. When they do, the past sales prices are irrelevant because the folks in the know, for the 30, 40 copies that might exist out there, my 5.5 is actually in great condition comparatively.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the awareness isn't as high. And you've got things like the Batman #1 selling for like 2.2 through Heritage. That was great.
Yeah, that just happened.
Yeah, that was great. But again, I think, you hear Mickey Mantle's Rookie and Batman #1. I think a lot of people think there's probably about the same number of each of them. And it's so wrong. So wrong. I think there's, maybe a few hundred copies of Batman #1, and go look up on all the, I think only a couple hundred have hit the censuses.
Right.
But then go look on all the different censuses for sports cards. How many Mickey Mantle #1s there are? And
right. Well, and the thing. Go ahead.
No, you go. I'm sick of talking.
I was going to say the thing there too is, and this is, you'll know what I mean by this, and I think our audience might as well. The Batman #1, that's not even a Detective 27. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to minimize Batman #1 in any way, but I'm saying, like, that's for that to sell for 2.2 million or whatever. That's almost like and again, I hesitate to use this term, the poor man's Detective 27, if that makes sense, which is a ridiculous thing to say, right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, even comparatively, I'm like, I was thinking about this the other day, and I guess it depends on market, like what comes to the market really, and like, what's going on at that time. But I always figured it would be an Action Comics #1 that breaks the $5 million barrier, which I think is coming at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, if an Action doesn't come up for auction for a while and a high grade Tech 27 comes up, is that a possibility too? Or what do you? I mean, I don't know. It just kind of. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though.
This is all speculation, but speculation's fun. So I'm going to roll with it for a minute.
Well, the thing is, those high grades are so incredibly rare that I won't say for sure certain, but I'm pretty sure the best known copies of Action 1 and Detective 27 have never been graded. I mean,
that's my understanding as well.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, in other words, I just don't think they'll actually come to auction. In order for people to explode on things the way that they have with sports cards, there has to be a FOMO. There has to be a fear of missing out, right? And in sports cards have that like gambling element. Like you and I, when we were in high school, like we busted open packs, right? Like looking for
Pack Wars, man. Pack Wars.
Oh, Pack Wars were the stuff. You can't afford it now. I was in the sports card store with my son yesterday.
Right.
$200 to $300 a pack for the new basketball Prism. Who's playing Pack Wars with those?
I remember us opening maybe Topps Finest Baseball.
Right.
Remember when those first came out? Like 93 maybe was that? I don't know. Maybe they were $10 a pack. Well, like $10 a pack. But
you're on
unbelievable.
This? And there's only like 7 cards in here. This is ridiculous. But yeah, no, that's
oh man, good stuff.
But yeah, so that's just it, though. You've got people doing things on camera. There is there are box openings. And there's this entire boom, I got one. Like Jonah doesn't even collect Pokemon cards, and he's telling me about YouTubers that open, these $500,000 boxes of Pokemon, and boom, they pull out a Charizard, and he's like, "Do you have any Pokemon, Dad?" I'm like, "No," and I wouldn't let you open them if I did.
Never say never, Jeff. Never say never.
All right.
Well, on that note, I think we had a good first conversation. I just wanted to get your viewpoints on the recent sales, given your history with all this stuff. Anything you want to add before we take off?
No, this is fun. We should do this more often.
I think so. I look forward to doing it again. And for anyone who is watching, if you enjoyed this, please let us know in the comments and let us know what we should talk about next.
Take it
awesome.
Easy.
I'll talk to you later, Jeff.
Bye.